Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah wabarakatuh. Today is 22nd of October 2019. It's a Tuesday. Inshallah, I will start reciting from Surah Al-An'am from verse 26. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إنما يستجيب الذين يسمعون والموتى يبعثهم الله ثم إليه يرجعون وقالوا لولا نزل عليه آية من ربه قل إن الله قادر على أن ينزل آية ولكن أكثرهم لا يعلمون وما من دابة في الأرض ولا طائر يطير بجناحيه إلا أمثالكم ما فرطنا في الكتاب من شيء ثم إلى ربهم يحشرون. Verse 28. The approximate meaning is not the literal meaning, is that there is no walking animal on earth or a flying bird in the sky that is not a nation like you. Amthalukum. And this is a very great gift for the mankind, for the people those who study animal kingdom, those who study birds, those who study the social structure of those animals, as well as those who study sociology and the social interaction of the within the human beings. This word of umamun amthalukum is very amazing. Nations like you. So that means that these are very intelligent societies. I mean, we know some of the things already that are very amazing. I mean, look at the kingdom of the bees and the social structure there, and the queen and the workers and the various systems that they have. And each one, they have their system, they have their social structure within themselves, maybe a means of communication, right? We know from Surah Al-Naml the amazing way how these ants communicated within themselves, right? So this social structure, because the creator is one, it's the same creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and all this have been created with a template. So as we see similarity in an individual, for example, when you study the animals, you will find the similarity between all of them in terms of the various systems inside the body from the biological perspective, right? So you'll have a respiratory system, you'll have digestive system, a circulatory system that circulates the blood, for example, the system that throws out the unwanted waste outside the body, okay, the respiratory systems. So these are similar in the individual cases, but we can take that, extend it further into maybe more intangible areas in terms of some emotions, perhaps, right? Some emotions and the thinking and the communication. These are some of the things still perhaps we haven't gained much insight. So this is a very fertile land of research. The social and behavioral structure of anything that moves, anything that flies, anything that we think that these are animate things, dabba, anything that yadub, from yadub means moves, no matter how primitive it might look. Okay, so it's always a place of research, and human beings indeed have been benefiting a lot from the research in these areas. I mean, we have gained some insight of the flight from maybe looking into the bird. The early attempts of flight have tried to mimic the bird. We understand the echo from the bats and this and that, so we always benefit from them, and we could benefit even further if we study their behavioral aspects. Just this week's Economist, I was just reading to this week's, today is 22nd October, so just see this week's edition of the Economist. So I was amazed to see a news an article in the Science and Technology section where they described a research in University of California, both a joint research between the two campuses of Berkeley and San Diego. They studied I think it's called Piroriku fish in the Amazon. So in this Amazon river, there is this huge fish. Some say that this is the largest freshwater sea. It can extend to 3 to 4 meters, the longest of them, and weigh more than 200 kilometers. So it's a huge fish with lots of meat, and amazingly they stay in the same environment and the same place as the piranhas. And we know piranhas, this fish would have been a great prize for the piranhas that they just their swarm, the school of piranhas would have eaten up all those Piroricus, but they don't do that. And the secret is their scale. The scale of this fish is, say that the strongest material in the world is in the scale, and they have exerted a pressure more than 500 newtons, and they could not rupture these scales. So tough and so stiff and strong that it's impossible. So researchers are studying what is the material. I think this research is done in the material science department. So what's the material that made it so strong, and can you use it as vest for the army or the police or for our usage? You see, so this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is the creators. Allah has created everything. أعطى كل شيء خلقه ثم هدى. Allah has created everything and gave everything their suitable structure and mechanisms that enable them to stay in their environment. So Allah gave this fish this skill in a place where it needed. That's to survive among the piranhas. Illa umamun amthalukum. Nations like you. So these are all signs in the universe, signs in our natural world, that we really need to, whenever we see them, we need to link it with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the supreme creator. I mean, it's very amazing when you see documentaries like Attenborough's various series. I was watching the Planet Earth second edition. It's amazing to see those fish world and how amazingly they interact, and the various strategies they make to hunt their prey. And really it's an amazing world. The problem is that those who watch these things with an atheist belief in their mind, I don't know what kind of amazement they get out of it, but surely I would imagine that it leaves lots of question in their mind, those who watch this kind of things, these amazing things around them, but they don't attribute to a designer. So I don't know how would they enjoy such things. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم والذين كفروا والذين كذبوا بآياتنا صم وبكم في الظلمات من يشاء الله يضلله ومن يشاء يجعله على صراط مستقيم. Subhanallah, the last question I asked about those atheists and how would they solve this puzzle without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as if Allah knew that that's the question I will end up, and then the next verse is addressing them actually. I was never thinking about it, but it happened so. And those who belie and don't see my signs in them, on belie my signs that I have put into those animal worlds, into this nature, these beautiful things. Those who do not see them, they are basically summun wa bukmun fi dhulumat. They don't hear, they don't talk, they are dumb and deaf in darkness. 3 Ds. Dumb, meaning they cannot talk, deaf, cannot hear, in darkness, dhulumat. So this is an amazing 3 Ds. I was just thinking about it right now. The 3 Ds, dumb, deaf, and in darkness. This is their description. Because Allah has gave them this faculty, but they made no effort. So these are, you see, there is like the concept of making for the purpose. So when you make something for a certain purpose, making for a purpose, the purpose is defeated here. I mean, Allah has gave us those faculty of hearing, of saying, of talking, of seeing. All those faculty are there for us, that leads us to the truth. But if that purpose is defeated, that you don't use them to see the truth, then as if you don't have it. And that's why in the terminology of the Quran you'll hear lots of times this word a'ma means do not see, the blind, the deaf, the dumb, and it refers to this thing, that actually they have a healthy sight. If you talk about the physical side, they can see, but they cannot see with their heart. Okay, so this is the thing, that the intention, it all falls under the ill intentions. Rectifying the intentions. In other words, they are not using their mind, the vision of the mind, and it's not the vision of the sight of the physical eye. قل أرأيتكم إن أتاكم عذاب الله أو أتتكم الساعة وغير الله تدعون إن كنتم صادقين بل إياه تدعون فيكشف ما تدعون إليه إن شاء وتنسون ما تشركون وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا إِلَى أُمَمٍ مِّن قَبْلِكَ فَأَخَذْنَاهُمْ بِالْبَأْسَاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَضَرَّعُونَ فلولا إذ جاءهم بأسنا تضرعوا ولكن قست قلوبهم وزين لهم الشيطان ما كانوا يعملون فلما نسوا ما ذكروا به فتحنا عليهم أبواب كل شيء حتى إذا فرحوا بما أوتوا أخذناهم بغتة فإذا هم مبلسون فقطع دابر القوم الذين ظلموا والحمد لله رب العالمين. These verses from 42 are description of the method of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the historical pattern that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been applying in history and is full of lesson for us, and the parameters of rise and fall of civilization. This is a huge topic that you will find scholars and scientists, various people talk about various things. You'll find people talking about the economical causes of the fall and destruction or rise of civilizations. Some will talk about the environmental, like the Jared Diamond's books, Collapse, or Guns and Steel and Germs. I think that was the name. So he will bend more from the environmental side of the thing. Others like what is his name? Why nations fail, for example. He will talk about the economic, Asimoglu, I think, economic and the political causes of the fall and rise of the various states. So people talk of various causes because it's a topic of interest and very important topic. So here also Quran comes with just 4 or 5 ayat, I think 4 ayats, I think, or even less, 3 ayats, 3 or 4 ayats anyways, that addresses these things with a really amazing information. So without further ado, let us just go through them very quickly. وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا إِلَى أُمَمٍ مِّن قَبْلِكَ, that there is a nation and there is a messenger that comes and conveys the message. And the message means this messenger will come and address some of the corruptions. The leading among them is shirk, associating deities other than Allah. And that deity could be a tyrant leader, that deity could be a system, that deity could be a statue, whatever, okay, that they attach to it, thinking that this is our God, this is the one who will bring benefits and lift the hardship from us other than Allah. So the messenger will come and address this ideological as well as social corruption that society would suffer, okay, like the homosexuality and moral things for the Lut, like the financial corruptions that the Qawm Shu'aib do. So they will come, okay, the messenger will come. That's pattern number 1, okay. فَأَخَذْنَاهُمْ بِالْبَأْسَاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَضَرَّعُونَ. Now with the message, when the messenger comes, now the test began. I mean, so it's take the analogy of a semester in a university started, okay, or a school. When a semester is started, that means you are given message. That's the content. That means you will be tested on the content. Otherwise, how will pass the exam, okay? So the test comes, and the test comes with various forms. with some acts of worship you have to do. The test is that you listen to the messenger. The test that you leave those moral degradations that the society would suffer. The test will come by richness, by poverty. All these things are tests, by some affliction with some diseases, this and that. Okay, all these tests comes, and the purpose is that these societies, they pass the test by submitting to Allah, by worshipping Allah. You see, so and that was the message of the messenger, that this is a test, and you start respecting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ma lakum la tarjuna lillahi waqara. It also that you attribute these things to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You worship Him, you respect Allah, you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay. لعلهم يتضرعون. But what happens? They don't listen. Their heart become very rough and stiff, and won't be soft, won't get soft by the reminder of these messengers. And often the social dynamics comes. Okay, there is the other group who are opposing the messenger, and they form a coalition, and they meet and they oppose the messenger of the messenger's message. Okay, qasat qulubuhum. And of course the shaitan is working behind the scene. The shaitan is working behind the scene, and the shaitan will make its arguments, will whisper their arguments that you are on the right path. Defend your deities against this messenger. Defend your deities. He is just terrorist. He is this, he is that. So the shaitan will come and create a parallel universe, a dark parallel universe that stands in front of the clear proofs that the messenger comes. And over time, and with their leadership from the other camp, the camp of shaitan, and over time, the heart becomes stiff and they don't see the truth anymore. So what happens? This is the interesting part. Really listen what happens. One would imagine that, okay, the messenger came, they did not listen, they were exposed to test and they failed the test, there will be a punishment now. No. Let's see what happens. فَلَمَّا نَسُوا مَا ذُكِّرُوا بِهِ. When they forgot, they did not pay attention to the repeated reminders. When they did not listen, what happens? فَتَحْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ أَبْوَابَ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. It's really amazing, subhanallah. Allah says, I have opened for them the doors of everything, the doors of development, prosperity in money, prosperity in rain, in food, in agriculture, in industry, in everything, economic growth, material affluence. When they did not listen to my messenger, and with all these tests, they did not listen, I have opened for them the doors of development. The doors of development. فَتَحْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ أَبْوَابَ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ حَتَّى إِذَا فَرِحُوا بِمَا أُوتُوا. So then they started to feel rejoiced. You see, we rejected the messenger and we got this. This is the biggest test than the previous test. This is the mother of all tests. You see, farihu, they starts to rejoice. You see, our economic growth is tied with following the West, with opening the country for music, for concert, for dance, for wine, for okay. So they start to correlate. They are distancing themselves from Allah, from the messenger. They correlate with that, with their development. حتى إذا فرحوا بما أوتوا. So what happens when they rejoice? أخذناهم بغتة. That's the ultimate point. I took them all in a sudden. This is the makr of Allah. They plot and Allah plot. Wallahu khairul makirin. And Allah's plot stands. أخذناهم بغتة. I took them all in a sudden. فإذا هم مبلسون. Now they start to repent, but I'm sorry, it's too late. فإذا هم مبلسون. So Allah praises Himself because He has set such kind of system in this world. Allah praises Himself saying, فَقُطِعَ دَابِرُ الْقَوْمِ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا. Let the people who wrong themselves, they are the zalimin. It has never been injustice. They are given so many chances and the clear proofs. So Allah cut them off. And Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. That is thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He has said such a thing to establish the truth on earth and keep it as a reminder. So these are the lessons of history. These are the lessons of history in the past, and this kind of things is unfolding in the present, but people, they do not think in a way that we should think about these ayat. فَقُطِعَ دَابِرُ الْقَوْمِ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا وَالْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. وَالسَّلَامُ عَلَيْكُمْ وَرَحْمَةُ اللَّهِ.